This podcast represents the opinions of the hosts of the Laugh Cry Club and guests on the show. The content here should not be taken as medical advice and is for informational purposes only. And because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. Views and opinions expressed in the podcast are our own and do not represent that of our places of work. While we make every effort to ensure that the information we share is accurate, we welcome any comments, suggestions, or correction of errors.
Okay, Joy. 1, 2, 3, Joy.
1, 2, 3, go. It's really just hard to start this week. It's the Laugh Cry Club. We're all just in a space, but we're here and we're showing up because that's what we do. I'm Joy.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Chelsea, and welcome to the Laugh Cry Club. Hi, everyone.
So glad you're here.
Welcome.
Thank you for supporting our podcast and liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving a review. This is almost 20 episodes in, and we're having a blast. And so we're so glad you're here.
This is episode 17, actually.
Episode 17.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm keeping track.
Yeah, you are. Thank you, Rebecca, for keeping track for us.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate that.
So this week we are going to do our laughs and cries, and then we're going to talk about how to navigate family relationships during the holidays, especially as we record this. It is the day after the election. So we woke up to a president that we weren't expecting, nor were we supporting. And that's just our personal viewpoints. We always like to kind of keep this podcast supportive of everyone's viewpoints. But so hopefully everyone can kind of listen to that and talk about that in a way that facilitates connection, togetherness instead of division. That's not what we're about. So no matter what your belief system, we invite that in to talk about in a way that feels productive and happy and difficult, but at the same time respectful of one another. So, but for our own personal viewpoints, we just kind of are in this space where we maybe didn't want to record today. And personally, I just got some really bad, tragic family news that I'm like, wow, let's just pile on to this horrible day. But connection is what helps me. So we're showing up and here we are.
Yeah, I think it's really important to take note that sometimes when life is really difficult, that we still have the ability as humans to show up for other people. And sometimes it's that connection that really gets us through.
I don't know if you deal with this, but sometimes it's tempting for me when I'm feeling really dark and struggling to withdraw and isolate. And kind of the last thing you want to do is find connection. But I always remind myself that you have to, we talked about, I think it was the last week, where we're sometimes behavioral activation, you just have to tick one thing off the list to be all right, I got to reach out to someone today. And then that behavior will get other behaviors going.
Or we can get permission too for it just to be hard. I think that's what I felt today, that it was okay that it was hard. It was okay that I got up, took my kids to the dentist, came back home, went, put the covers over my head, went back to sleep, woke up and ate lots of donuts, even though I was not hungry, and just sat there in silence for a little bit because, we don't know what the future holds. I just know that there's very specific things that have a strong potential to impact my family directly and individuals who I love and care about directly, and many humans that I may not know, but also still care about. And so I think we can have all of that, right? We can connect. We can kind of go to a dark side for a little bit. I always say you have to run to the dark in order to come back to the light. And I think today we're holding space for all of those things to be true.
Something that came to mind for me this time around, because the last election where Trump won in 2016, I think everyone was oh my gosh, and shocked and, just really how could this happen? And now we've learned how this can happen. I think there's many of us who always knew that this could happen, but I think there's a lot of this awakening of what's actually going on in the world to where something like this could happen. And we always have hope that things will be different. Just politics aside, I feel I woke up today and I was oh, I can't be mad because I was mad last time. I can be angry and frustrated with how this came to be and so many people supporting someone that I feel like is just ethically, morally, just horribly wrong. But I thought to myself, like, oh, that's exactly what keeps that train going is the division mindset. So I personally am choosing to go, all right, well, here we are. My first reaction is to like be angry and upset and mad, which is fine. But what continues to move the needle is to like go towards that really difficult piece of like, I just don't want to get defensive anymore. I don't want to blame people who supported this person. I want to understand. That's really hard because I have a tendency to just want to be angry and like shout from the rooftops of like, how dare everybody bring someone into, you know what I mean? So my mindset really is kind of like, how can I move forward in a way that feels loving and inviting, honoring all the feelings, of course, but just something that is not going to create more division. And that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we jump into laughs and cries?
Chelsea, who are you nominating?
Well, I think in celebration of inclusion and all things human, I would like to nominate Rebecca today to go first. I don't think you've gone first in a while. So the human experience is something that we all go through. And so that is why we share our laughs and our cries, because these are everyday things that are happening. So Rebecca, take it away.
I think everybody can relate. These things may have not happened to you particularly, but you can totally enjoy this experience as well. Maybe you get some laughs and maybe it makes you cry too. You know, that's a joke I always say to my clients, actually, like when, you know, they get tearful and things like that. I always say, you know, I have a tendency to make people cry, and then it kind of lightens the mood anyway. So
you have shared that, Rebecca.
I digress. So my laugh has to do with a animal communicator session that I had last night for my dogs, Ruby and Fritz, because they're newer rescues in the last, Fritz 6 months, Ruby 2 years. We don't know anything about their history. So it was primarily for them, but then Oliver got included too. So it was a whole family kind of reading, which was nice. But Ruby is this really aloof cattle dog. Like, she's just chill and relax. She just likes to lay around. Sometimes I think we could all leave and she'd be fine on her own. Like, she's pretty independent. So it was really funny to kind of get her personality last night. And Ruby is hilarious. So we were trying to get some kind of information, like how does she feel about her brothers and things like that. And she referred to Fritz, the new dog we've had for 6 months. He's a German short-haired pointer, as Derpy. And she said, she was like, he's smart, but he sure doesn't act like it. And we were like dying laughing. Like, she's calling him Derpy. And we're like, well, what does he think about Oliver? Oliver's this cute little white dog. He looks like a lavish. He looks lavish, but he's not.
Cute. Yeah, he does look lavish.
You probably
he has
seen pictures of him.
The cutest little face. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, she said that she didn't know really what to think of him, that she referred to him as like an alien, that she's like, she doesn't know what to think of him. And the same thing for Fritz, kind of referred to Oliver as like, I don't know what to do with this dog. Like, he's just odd. Mm-hmm. And so it was really interesting. And Oliver is very strange. We've always said I've thought he was a human, like reincarnated into a dog, or maybe a cat reincarnated to a dog, because he has cat-like tendencies. And the animal communicator said if he had a cat tree, he'd be on it. And so we were just laughing hysterically. It was so cute to kind of see their personalities. And yeah, Ruby also said that the name that she came with from the shelter was Oreo, because she's like a black and white dog. And she's like, yeah, that's a dumb name. That wasn't her name that she had. She's like, that was a dumb name. So she's glad that we changed her name to Ruby.
It. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
It was so
Ruby's
cute.
Such a great name.
Yeah. She's great. So it was just so cool. It was very comical to hear her little personality, because she seems so like disinterested, but she definitely had some opinions to share. Yeah.
That's great.
So
what a cool experience.
Yeah, it was really great. I've done it before too, and I've always had really great experiences. So yeah, maybe give it a try.
Oh my gosh, I need to give it a try for my new cat.
Yeah.
And Priya. I'm so curious about what they would be saying.
Yeah. You learn so much about your animals. Mm-hmm. It really is cool.
Yeah.
We do need to try that. I mean, what if she can come on the show? We
She
could just
would.
bring the animal. Like, is
Yeah,
she virtual?
She is. Yeah, she's actually
Yeah.
done quite a few podcast episodes too. She's my
What?
she's my close friend, Marianne McKiernan. She's a fellow puppy
She's
raiser.
great.
And she's
Okay.
amazing. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to put a mental post-it in my head.
Yeah. It was
that
really
this could
cool.
be something. Yeah, I would love that. Okay. And Rebecca, back to you.
So that was my laugh. And my cry has to do with a documentary we watched over the weekend called Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter. It's on Netflix. If you like true crime sort of things, you'll enjoy it. I love true crime. That's actually kind of how I decompress. I love watching that stuff. But it was so sad. It's about this woman who, I think it was in the 70s, had a baby and felt forced by her mother to give the child up for adoption. Like this would be the best thing for the kid because you're in high school. How are you going to raise this kid? So she kind of felt forced to give up the kid for adoption, and she did. And so she's had to live with that all of her life. And in 20 years ago, or actually in 2010, she got the adoption agency reached out and said, "Hey, we need to get a DNA sample from you." She called them and was like, "Oh, what's going on? Is she trying to find me and get in contact?" And they're like, "No, actually, she has been missing for 20 years. So they needed her DNA on file in case to run it against if they found remains."
Oh my God.
So that's why this is so sad. So this
Wait,
woman,
hold on. Don't give a spoiler though, right? Because
I'm
just
not.
wrote it down. Okay, just
not.
making sure. Okay.
I
just
won't
making
tell you
sure.
what happens.
No
but-
spoilers.
Do not tell us what happens.
No spoilers here. But I'm just giving you the gist of why it's so sad. This woman, she's kind of been thinking about this all along. Like, what is my daughter doing now? And, it was a closed adoption, so there's no info. And she thought she was giving this child up to a really great family. And it turns out when she was 14 years old, she disappeared. And it was a cold case until 2010-ish and on. But anyway, this woman got heavily involved in I am going to find my daughter. And she made it her mission to just start searching and trying to get social media and things like that going to support trying to find what happened to her daughter and get the police to start looking into this again. So I think it's like a 3-part series. It's really great, but also very sad. That's my cry.
And what was the name again, Rebecca?
Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter.
Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter. We'll put it
it's
in the
on
show
Netflix,
notes.
and I believe Charlize Theron is a producer on it as well.
Ooh, I love her.
I do too. I'm like, ooh, that's some street cred right there.
Well, thank you sharing for your list of documentaries that we all need to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, we can all start extra crying this week.
Yeah, if you need to cry more, there you go. Yeah, who do you want to pass it on to?
Well, Joy, would you like to be the next human?
Sure.
Because I would like to nominate you.
Sure, I'll be the next human. Okay, so
wonderful. Let's pass it to Joy.
my laugh this week, I'm going to actually make it a visual. So I'm going to post it on our stories when this episode drops because you have to see it in order to laugh at it. So basically what happened was yesterday, again, as of this recording, it's November 6th and we voting day was November 5th. So I was asking on the other podcast platform for people to submit their dog videos. This is the thing I do all the time when I need a boost is send me pictures of your pets. I love looking at other people's pets. I love seeing the funny things they do. So this gal sent me a video of her dog Athena. It's a rescue, pretty new dog that they've rescued. She does this really funny thing after you give her a piece of cheese. And they're like, she only does this after you give her a piece of cheese. And if you could imagine a cute little dog just sitting, and again, I will post the video. You have to go on our Instagram and watch the stories. I'll post it the day we drop this so you can see it. It is I laughed so hard. I watched it over and over again. But the dog basically eats this little piece of cheese. You imagine how excited dogs get when they get a treat. And they're sitting there wiggling. And then the dog sits there and then it starts smacking at its lips and it's making this cute little, it's unbelievable. I've never seen a dog do this before, but the look on the dog's face, I was rolling laughing, and I was like messaging the gal who sent it. I'm like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. She's like, I've never seen a dog do this before. We laugh every single time. I'm like, thank you. That just made my day. And I just like kept playing it and playing it. So I will post that and give everyone else a laugh today because it's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I think we need to see that for sure. Is it smacking the lips prior to the cheese, or is it like after? It's like it's stuck maybe to the top of his mouth, like
Yes, exactly. But it opens its mouth while it's doing it, and it's like the cutest little face. So it's almost like he's like kissing the air. It is so cute.
By the way, I was just you all can't see that, but I was like kissing the air like I'm a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
It looked really good.
Chelsea looked impressed.
It was a good visual. So that was my laugh. Athena, the dog, who after eating cheese just gets real excited and starts making cute little like kissy faces. Okay, so thank you for the internet.
I do the same when I eat cheese, by the way.
I mean, you got to say, like, eating cheese is pretty exciting. So I really do thank the internet for those reasons, like when you have to like laugh and find a funny animal video that just like leaves you crying. My cry has just been, wow. I'm just going to accept that like this season is just really hard. It's just a hard season. I tend to like get into this fallacy of like, oh, I just got through a really hard time like with the move. So like my karma's done with like hard stuff for a while. It's funny that like life doesn't work that way. Like life doesn't just like dole out hard times in like, you know what I mean? Like it's just going to keep going. So you can't. But so, I mean, I'm really devastated over this election. So I've been really struggling with that, with the election results. And then I guess I'll share this because it just happened, but I think it's okay to share. But like today, after the election results, and like I just really couldn't pick myself up off the floor today. I was just feeling really down and like, and it's snowing outside, and then you can't like go outside because it's like just pouring down snow, and there's just piles of snow everywhere. It's like, it's fun and pretty to look at, but like when you want to get out of the house, you like can't, you know? So,
yeah.
So then today I get a call from my mom, and she's like crying, and my heart like dropped to the floor because all I could think was, when my mom calls me crying, someone has passed away. And I was like, who died, you know? And so we found out, one of her brothers passed away, and it just like the tragedy that my mom's side of the family has been through is just heartbreaking. And so of course we like cried together, and I just like had this moment where I was like, fuck, this is life. Like we just like when life keeps piling on top of you and you kind of just like want to crawl in a hole and you can't. Like you could, but I don't like to crawl in holes. I like to kind of like keep, like I wanted to keep recording. Like you guys were like, hey, do you want to reschedule? And I was like, no, I want to do this. Like I want to have connection. And so it has been like trying to keep my head on straight with just processing and letting myself feel all the feelings and not playing that game of like, okay, good, we got over that hump. Okay, someone died, so I should be good with the karma for a while as far as like bad things happening. And it's like, you just kind of have to take it one day at a time. So it's just been kind of out of body. Like, you know what I mean? So when you just kind of are dealing with all that emotion and you kind of float out of your body every once in a while. But
that's a lot. I'm really sorry, Joy.
Thank you.
Joy, I am so sorry, and sending the biggest condolences to you and your family. Oh my gosh, that is just such a tremendous, death is so hard.
It's so hard. And and I think just, I'll say this last thing is like my family, my mom's side of the family, I'm sure she'd be okay with me saying this. Like they've just dealt with so much tragedy in their life. Like they lost, my grandfather was killed before I was born. Like he was shot on like accident. Someone who was drunk accidentally shot him. And so they lost him at a very, like they were all very young kids. The trauma from that has just like snowballed. And she's lost now 2 of her brothers in the span of the past 2 years because what I feel of like direct results of the snowball effect of that trauma. Like they never went to counseling. They didn't take care of themselves. They were like, just it's so sad and tragic. And that's what kind of breaks my heart for my mom, is because she's such a caretaker of everybody. And it's like she's just watching them like kind of pass away because like they're not, they just didn't, it's not like no one's fault, but like they didn't have the coping skills and they didn't have the tools to like deal with this. And which is why we're therapists and like, hey, everybody go talk to someone. Like it's okay to ask for help. But that generation, my mom's generation, her brother's generation, like that wasn't normalized, unfortunately. And so it's not like something they could just like pick up the phone and start to talk to someone now. So that's kind of what breaks my heart on many levels for everything that has gone down, but really specifically because of like the tragedy this family has endured and has lived with, throughout their entire lives. And so it's going to be a really hard road ahead to kind of like mend the heartbreak from all this. But death is really, really hard.
It is. And it doesn't matter if it's something expected or if it's totally unexpected. It's hard regardless.
I'm still just kind of coming down from that phone call where my mom, no one passing away is good, but I honestly was like thinking that my dad died because like I wasn't, that's like I go to worst case scenario. So I'm still kind of coming down from that adrenaline dump of like, one day that phone call is going to come. And like, it's hard not to live there in that, like that fear of, life and death. So thank you for the Laugh Cry Club for just providing this space to talk about these things. And on that note, let's pivot. Let's pivot to a Laugh Cry for Chelsea. Let's take a deep breath.
Let's take a beat.
Yeah.
Let's take a beat. Let's go in through the nose. Gently pausing at the top and an exhale. Okay, I need to do it one more time. Okay. Inhale. Pausing and then a big exhale. Okay.
Thank you for that, Chelsea.
Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing these really hard things. And I think this is that human thread of connection that is really important, that we don't go into the divisiveness that we are all susceptible and vulnerable to, that we continue to come back to the shared experience of being a human being and that everybody is going through something. And Joy, it's funny, I had a conversation this morning with an individual who I was talking to who was saying, I keep waiting for something not bad to happen because so many bad things. And I just said, and it was like, am I doing this to myself? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, you're a human being and nobody's exempt from pain and suffering. My cry was one of those, I call it like a breakthrough cry. I guess one of those cries where you have so many emotions stored in your body, but you haven't really gone there. And so I have 3 girlfriends in town right now. And one brought her husband, which he's been so amazing with all of us. This is a loud group of women. This is a very strong group of women. In fact, her husband said myself and my girlfriend Natalie were the feminine ones, which I thought was hilarious in the group because I see myself as more masculine. But we all get together and it's rowdy and it's fun. And we were having a great time, and we were sitting on the back of my girlfriend's deck, and it overlooks the lagoon. It's beautiful. It's evening time. We've had like a great day. We're all hanging out and we're talking, and I got hit. I needed to call Steve to tell him I was going to be coming home later, and I wanted to check in to see how he was doing and how the kids were doing. I got off the phone with him, and it like hit me how hard or how fucked up our reality is. Like, it just hit me to think about, I guess, I'm married to this man. He's been healthy his entire life. He's never had so much as high cholesterol. I mean, nothing, 0 medical history to stage 4 cancer. And I look, and like, Steve was an athlete and he was a snowboarder and he was always skateboarding and riding bikes and like always active and doing stuff. And that phone call of checking in, like, hey, are you good to like make dinner for the kids? Like, are you guys going to be okay without me? It hit me of this complex way of feeling guilty that I was with my friends having fun, even though I know he never wants me to feel that way. He feels grateful that I'm with my friends having fun. And then like thinking that he hasn't been able to like cut loose with his friends in like 3 years. It just made me really sad. And I was the kind of sad that my feelings were so intense that I couldn't talk to anybody. Like my girlfriends were like trying to comfort me and I'm like, I can't talk to anybody. I just need to like sit. And I was so physically uncomfortable. I wanted to like be anywhere that wasn't my body. I kept trying to like pull it back in. I kept trying to not cry. And we keep resisting. And I know better, like just let the tears go out and don't judge it and it'll stop. But I kept judging it. So I kept ramping it back up. And then one of my other girlfriends came out and then saw what was going on. And she was like, well, if you don't cry here, where will you cry? And then it made me bawl. So that was my cry. And thank God for girlfriends. My laugh is us going to dinner last night. So we went to dinner. We went to this restaurant that's like a really nice restaurant. It's called Jesse's on the Bay. The server, my girlfriend and I were sharing everything. So we got like a filet to share. We got like salad to share. We share everything. But we did something new I never did before, which we shared a espresso martini. Like we shared one drink. And I'm like, so I look and we have one espresso martini in the middle of us that we're sharing. We have one water next to the espresso martini that we're sharing.
Really?
Then we each have an iced tea. It was weird, right? Is that weird?
They didn't bring waters for each of you?
No, but then he must have heard me laughing because I'm like, ew, this is fun. I normally share food, but I haven't ever shared drinks before. So we're sharing iced tea, water. And he must have heard us because then he brings us over each extra iced tea, each extra water. So she has 3 iced teas and a water, or 2 iced teas and water. I have 2 iced teas and water. Then we have this, but our table is full of drinks. Like he heard me laughing about it. Yeah, it was really weird and hilarious. But I actually highly recommend sharing a drink with somebody. Like I'm a lightweight. I should always be sharing.
Oh yeah. Okay. Can I pivot for really quick and ask? Like I've never had an espresso martini because I'm afraid of like the up down effect. No. Does it make you really up and down? Like how does that work? Because I'm so sensitive to caffeine that I'm like, would I just be up all night or would I immediately pass out?
Typically, it's not like real coffee in there. It's an espresso liqueur or a coffee liqueur.
Okay. Thank goodness. Because I was like, is it coffee? Okay.
I thought they put regular coffee in it.
Well, some places may, but a lot of times it's just like a coffee liqueur.
Well, and I don't know anything about caffeine working. Because my truth is I'm the person who drinks a cup of coffee and goes to bed. I can drink a Red Bull, and go right to sleep. Caffeine and iced tea helps. I mean, these things help me, but I could still go to sleep at any time of the day.
Chelsea.
But for alcohol part, me sharing is a really good thing. And I don't know how I'm 46 and never realized I should always be sharing.
Yeah. Well, maybe we were taught not to share drinks because of germs. I mean,
I don't know if I'd want to share water with someone. I could share an alcoholic beverage. Yeah.
Is it
Are you
weird?
drinking through a straw or were you guys just drinking on the whole rim?
Both, I'm sure.
I don't think it's weird. I personally am a little bit of a germaphobe. So that's why I would be like kind of skeeved out about sharing water with someone.
So
with your best friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to, Jane, if you're listening to this, I don't want to share a glass of water with you.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to share everything.
So I would definitely share a beverage, but because I feel like alcohol would like kill the germs, so that wouldn't freak me out. But water to me kind of skeeves me out.
I shared my water bottle at a workout class once on a bike class. Yeah, the lady was dying of thirst.
Absolutely
I just
not.
handed her my water bottle.
You just squirted it at her and she like caught it in her mouth?
No, I just handed it to her and she took a drink of it.
Chelsea, you are truly the supporter of randos and I love it because like we need people like you because there's people like me who would not do that for someone who's dying of thirst.
I did feel a little weird after I did that. I'm not going to lie. I did wipe the mouth before I drank out of it again, but I have drank, like my cat will drink out of my cup and I'll drink.
Oh, no, cat mouth. Cat
okay,
mouths
I want
are
you to
the
know
dirtiest.
you just admitted this to the public.
Wait,
to
Chelsea,
the
do you
entire
understand
world.
how dirty cat mouths are?
Yeah,
what?
They are the
talk
dirty.
About that?
You have to like go the second anyone gets like a cat bite. You have to go to the emergency room immediately. Like
you could,
their cat mouths are
dirty
disgusting.
mouths.
You could get a disease and die from cat bites.
Really?
Yeah.
immediately.
Priya just takes a little drink every once in a while.
It's
she
not a
does
cat
sip
by
out of a
going into
straw,
the
right?
skin. Yeah. It's not going into the skin, but I'm just saying I equate cat mouths with being really
If Chelsea
lethal.
starts acting odd on this podcast, we are going to think she has developed something from her cat, Priya, drinking.
Well,
from
I'm
her
going to have
water.
to set a boundary with Priya through the medium that Rebecca spoke with to let
Yeah.
Priya know it's not personal. It's actually dangerous for her mother
Yes.
to drink after
Don't
her.
put your
okay,
mother
well, I
in
won't do it
danger.
anymore.
Give
Okay.
her like a little glass too.
Yeah.
Well, it happens in the middle of the night. I keep a Yeti by my bed because I get thirsty. And so then I'll drink. And sometimes I hear her drinking it, but I'm so thirsty, I will drink it.
Well, I thought Yetis had straws.
Yeah. Don't they have
I don't
tops?
use a straw because it creates wrinkles above your lips.
Oh.
I already have wrinkles.
We are admitting so much today, Chelsea. I actually have a question about your tea. Is it sweet tea or regular tea?
Regular tea.
Unsweetened. Okay.
Unsweetened, yeah.
I just wondered because you're in the South.
Well, we couldn't share tea, my girlfriend and I, because she likes sweet tea and I like unsweet tea.
Oh, that's why you had so many teas. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
That's the tea problem going
Cool.
on. Okay.
All right.
Okay, we digress.
So we talk about the listener's question, or
yeah,
okay.
let's do it. Okay, who's gonna go into that question?
I believe that the listener's question was something about like the upcoming holidays, and with holidays we typically get together with our families, and sometimes that can be really difficult to, we might be seeing them once a year and all kinds of different personalities and dynamics. And then with politics involved, that sometimes these can become dicey situations. So the listener was asking kind of like, is any feedback or advice on what to do in order to prepare yourself for these family holiday gatherings?
This is a hard one. I know a lot of people deal with this time of year.
Yeah.
And then you throw in an election that's really divisive. And I think that makes it really, really difficult, especially difficult. So as I kind of alluded to in last week's episode, to make yourself kind of like funny laugh, do watch the Adele SNL skit with the song.
It's
where
so
they
good.
they're sitting around the dinner table and every time they press the Adele song, everyone sings together. So it's just making it real that this is a big deal for a lot of families. And some people just choose not to hang out with their families, and that's fine too. So I think that one of the things that I think is really important for people to first recognize is like, can you set ground rules and like, hey, can we just agree not to talk about politics? Like, this has been really difficult. Is that something that your family would honor? Sometimes there's someone who's not going to do that. And so you kind of have to like, what would you do in that situation if someone is maybe trying to be provocative and like stir up crap?
Okay, so let's define boundaries first. That's what I think. I mean, I think if I'm thinking of a boundary isn't asking someone to behave in a different way. A boundary is how am I going to choose to respond? And so if I set the boundary of, hey, like nobody's changing somebody's mind, right? Like everybody knew who they were voting for. Everybody knows what things matter to them. These aren't really conversations that tend to be productive. So that could be the boundary of, hey, like this is something that we're not going to really get anything out of. And so let's put a pin in it, or let's not have this. If the person continues, that's when you have to decide how you're going to respond. So even though we say boundaries, we think of them as like, this is a rule of how someone's going to treat me. You still have to respond to how you want to do that. Typically, I would say you reiterate the boundary of, I love you and I want to connect with you. And this creates disconnect. So could we please talk about something else? And then you thank them for honoring it. If they continue to go on, well, then you need to make a choice of how you want to respond. You can easily gently excuse yourself. I see people who go to the kids' table. Kids and pets are like a great excuse to kind of go take a break. I always like to take a walk after I eat, like a huge Thanksgiving meal or Christmas meal. So you can take a walk, call somebody who you care about, but it's up to you. There's that saying, you don't have to show up to every fight you're invited to.
Exactly.
That is your responsibility to decide how you want to respond. So I would want to highlight that boundary part, Joy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, boundaries are what's okay and what's not okay. And they can change from time to time. Things can be different. But if you know something is going to cause you great discomfort, it's going to create divisiveness, then that sounds like it would be a healthy boundary for you.
I think everybody goes to let's set ground rules for these type of events. Do you know how hard that is?
It's
set these
pretty impossible.
Ahead
Yes.
of time?
And not
Nobody's-
not a lot of families have that have that
No. dynamic
set up. I don't think I would be. I might say that to family to be like, hey, let's just not talk. But that's as far as I would go. It's not
Right.
like you're gonna write this long drawn out email to everyone. But maybe you do. But not everyone's family is dynamics are
No.
like that.
I think I find maybe the majority of people would feel they feel uncomfortable to say, hey, heads up, for this holiday meal, let's not talk about A, B, and C.
Or maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're scared to
Yeah.
ask that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it comes from a place of fear, which is okay. So you don't have to pre-set it up, but maybe just be aware of Chelsea was talking about what the boundary is for you and recognize when it's happening when you're around these people and do some things for self-care for yourself.
Yeah, I would say that you don't have to put a PSA announcement out. These are for yourself. You can go and say, I am going to choose to not get involved in this conversation. So I always say when you're doing something hard, set your intention. What is your intention? Why are you going to visit your family in the first place? What's the point? Why are you doing this? Is it because you miss your nieces and nephews? You miss your parents? This is something that's nostalgic. And then you're going to focus on that why and try not to get derailed by all of the other things that are going to come up. And I would say there's a intervention in dialectical behavioral therapy called radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is you accept that these other humans, your family members, have their own personalities, their own viewpoints. They have their own way of thinking that may or may not align with yours. When we accept that, then we can have compassion for ourselves and say, ouch, that hurts. And ew, I wish my sister didn't say that, or I wish my mother didn't say that, or gosh, that was really hard. I can take care of myself, not hoping that they're not going to do what they've historically always done. We accept that this is who they are, this is what they're going to do, but it's up to us of how we take care of ourselves and how we continue to focus on our intention. And I don't want to minimize how incredibly hard this is. I mean, there's people who come to therapy right around this time. I've made many kind of safety plans with individuals of staying at a hotel, making sure they have their own card. Somebody likes travel pictures, so they're bringing lots of travel pictures as something. Somebody likes a board game, so we're going to focus on this. Kind of having a lot of tools in the bag of things to focus on. But radical acceptance would be, I accept that this is how it is, and I'm not going to feed into that dynamic because that's going to hurt me more. You're not fighting with reality.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that we can't change anyone else's behavior but our own. So wishing that maybe this time it will be different, don't set yourself up for failure. And what you're basically saying is yeah, you really need to accept these people, these humans for who they are and go in with a game plan to protect yourself. And that's really hard to do when you're it could be potentially full of landmines that you're trying to walk around. So it is kind of a game of all right, preparing. Like you said, Chelsea, of doing more or less a safety plan, which for us just kind of means setting yourself up to have a plan ahead of time to know that if things get really dicey, what are you going to do? What are you going to fall back on?
Yeah.
So walking into these scenarios, you want to be prepared.
Set yourself up for success. Essentially, the best thing you can do is plan ahead, right? So we can try to avoid these pitfalls. And then if you have a plan ahead of time, when the pitfall or the landmine occurs, you know exactly what you need to do. And Chelsea, you had some really great points there about maybe staying in a hotel, or I think if you are staying with a family member, maybe you even familiarize yourself with a hotel nearby in case you need to go stay there. Or instead of riding with someone to this event, take your own vehicle so that way you can leave. And managing your expectations, like you both were talking about, are really important too, that we can't change these people. This is who they are.
Can I give you an example of a client I had a long time ago where they would always have to kind of prepare before they went and saw family. And the situation was always really difficult because no matter what this person did, the family was upset. So if they stay with them, they'd get upset and annoyed. And just the family toxicity would just like dump all over them anyway. And so one year they were like, I really just want to get a hotel, but they're going to get upset. And I was like, they're going to get upset no matter what you do. So you might as well be happy in a nice hotel away from that and distancing. And I'm like, would you rather be, it's like a would you rather, sadly, like, would you rather be in the house dealing with that drama and that toxicity 24/7? Or would you rather have some distance and have them be like slightly PO'd that you didn't stay at their house? You know, so you kind of have to like really weigh. I mean, this is not a perfect system. There's going to be maybe a lesser of two evils here of what you're going to have to choose. But at the end of the day, what is going to be the best for you? And a lot of people with family stuff, I know this is like easier said than done, but there's so much of that, like, I don't want people to be mad at me mentality. And so that can be really hard. Like, I don't want to upset them or I don't want to offend them if I choose to stay in a hotel. And it's like, that's a good practice for you to be like, I'm going to go out on a limb this time and get a hotel and just see what happens.
Joy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what I thought of when you were talking? I was like, this is a good reminder to everybody listening that we are not little kids anymore.
Exactly.
Like, you once were a little kid and you had to listen to these opinions. You had to listen to whoever was in charge of the household. You had to get through dysfunctional dynamics in whatever coping way you needed to. But now you have an opportunity to do this in a way that aligns with who you are, where you can stay heart and head connected. You can stay connected to your emotions, to your intention, while also not believing your brain that you have to be the good girl. You have to make sure you're agreeable. Everybody has to like you and be comfortable with you. And you are the boss of yourself. Do not forget that. You're not a little kid anymore. Rebecca?
That is so good, Chelsea. I was just going to add, too, that it's okay if people are upset. People are entitled to their emotions, and we can't control people's emotions. So it's a good reminder that people can have whatever emotion they might have, and that's okay. That's theirs. It doesn't mean you have to take it on, which I think goes back to all the little kid stuff, the trauma of trying to please people. I don't want people to be mad at me. And that at this point, they can be mad, but you can also be happy. Both things can happen at the same time and feel safe.
Let's highlight that quote. We are not responsible for other people's emotions, period. What somebody else feels or does, if we're not doing that to them, that's on them. We are not responsible for abandoning ourselves at the expense of ourselves in order to make somebody else feel comfortable.
You know what that reminds me of? And we can kind of end with this is, like family stuff could get on you. We use that phrase of like, it gets on you. You can feel it where you're all of a sudden, like, you could be in a really good mood. And then and this could go with anyone, friends, coworkers, whatever, but especially with family stuff where you feel that ick or you're just like, they just kind of like yucked my yum or whatever. Like, they really just
that is true.
made my day. Like,
Yucked my yum.
I love it. Quote that.
You could like go in the bathroom and just physically like almost like you're brushing it off of you to be like, get this energy off of me. And that, or when you're in that environment and you feel it, remind yourself like, this is not mine to take on, and envision like you're covered in like a white light or a bubble, like you're encapsulated in a bubble, and it kind of like bounces off of you, because it's really easy for that negativity or whatever the stuff that is within those family dynamics to get on you. And then you're kind of like, well, now my day is ruined. So it's, again, easier said than done, but that's just something to kind of think about when you're going in, is like, I would work with clients in the past, like almost visualizing that they had armor on or that they had a shield that they were carrying. And that if that was like starting to come up, that would be kind of like bouncing off. Like, what is that old kid saying? Everything you say, I'm rubber, you're glue, everything.
Right. It bounces off of me onto you.
Onto you.
Yes.
That's what you have to say.
It sticks on you. It bounces off me and it sticks on you.
And it sticks on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really great. I always talk to people about armoring up. So that's really helpful. Also want to mention real quick, it could be helpful to have like a buddy, do a buddy system with somebody else. If they might be going home to their family and you guys buddy up that way, hey, I might just text you through today and you can be like, oh yeah, so-and-so's doing this over here too. Like, you can have some connection that way. Or if you have a spouse or partner that's with you, maybe you two discuss it before you enter into the situation and be like, there, you just can see the look from across the room and it's like, yep, I got you. And then, you can go over and maybe touch them and say, yeah, let's go out for a walk or something. So make sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
Secret
I love
communication, I call it. So my kids, it would be like when they were little, they would put their hand on my shoulder and push down a little bit. And I would know that they needed attention or something was wrong. Like it was a silent signal. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I have like a wink. Or do you have your friends where there's like, is it ESP? Where you're just like mind reading, you're telepathic.
Know. Yeah.
That's a fun one. And listen, maybe your family's amazing and this is going to be the greatest time ever. And if it is, then you can just focus on your intention of enjoying all of these things and being extra grateful for it. But
gratitude is important too.
Even with people who challenge our
yes. Yeah.
Well, y'all, this has been a really heartfelt discussion today on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm proud of us for all showing up today, actually.
Yeah, we didn't want to. We didn't feel like it.
We didn't.
No.
We
it was hard.
I mean, we love each other and we love the audience, but it was just hard to like pull out the energy and be like, okay. Yeah.
And it's a hard topic to talk about too, really, about what to do with family and holidays, because gosh, there's just so much stuff.
So we don't know what next week's going to bring on the Laugh Cry Club. We do have some really good listener questions that we're considering talking about.
It'll be a surprise.
We also have, so many good topics that are on the agenda. We have this little running agenda. So we're going to say next week is going to be a surprise episode. We're just going to pick a topic. We don't know. We don't know what it's going to be.
You're just going to have to tune in and find out.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to, right?
Yes. That's what we all need. It's going to be something to look forward to. It's going to be fun and exciting. I mean, the laughs and the cries never disappoint.
Yeah.
So let's think about something we could do to really look forward to. Let's give like our listeners the most bang for their buck of like endorphins, fun. Let's do a surprise.
Okay. All right.
So are we drinking a lot of Red Bull? Or is that what we're doing? You bang for their buck?
Well, we could all have Red Bulls if we want.
Some espresso martinis.
Except for Joy. She needs the caffeine-free version.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you everyone for supporting us. You can email us at laughcryclub@gmail.com with any comments, questions. You can do a voice memo and email your question to us. We love hearing from you. We love to hear what topics you want to hear from us. So you can also follow us at Laugh Cry Club on Instagram and TikTok. And we love you so much. Hang in there with us. We are right there with you, feeling all the feelings. And we're so glad you're in the club.
Yes, we are a club together. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Next week, surprise.
Surprise.
That's life, baby.